Are you looking to scale your business, but you're not quite sure how? You know deep down that you are the bottleneck. You're the reason why things aren't happening. You don't have the right systems in place. You didn't delegate things maybe the correct way. And your team may be a little floundering. I remember being in a position like that where I had all of these great ideas I was sharing with my team, and we'd be rowing in this direction, and all of a sudden I'd have a new idea, and they would be like, okay, 180, we're now going this way. And it kind of gives your team whiplash. If you're in a place like this, you really need systems. My name is Brooke Elder, and I'm the founder of True North, and we are all about helping you create the right systems in your business so that way you can scale and you can have your business really build itself. So today, I want to walk you through the business scaling blueprint. This is a guide for visionaries just like you to show you how you can effortlessly scale your business and grow it to the level that you want, but it's not going to sacrifice your time and your family. Let's dive into who this is for. This is for business owners who have about 3, maybe 5 team members, and you are feeling stuck in the day-to-day of your business. You're doing the operations, you're doing all of the things in the back end. Maybe you have had some help, but you are still feeling like if something needs to get done, it's going to be you to get that thing done. You want to scale, but you also don't want to sacrifice your personal life. You probably have heard so many stories about people who scale to these multi-million-dollar companies and they sacrifice their families because of it. And you don't want to be that person. And you want to build a business that is aligned with your passions, your priorities, and most importantly, your profits. If that sounds like you, then you are in the right place, and I'm going to walk you through how you could create a business that's going to do just that, to grow without sacrifice. If you want to gain the freedom of focusing on what you love most, whether that be coaching, it could be serving your clients, it could be innovating with new ideas, or spending time with your family, then you're in the right place. If you want to build a business that supports your desired lifestyle instead of consuming your life, then you're in the right place. If you want to develop a team that is aligned with your vision and they feel empowered to make decisions that drive growth, if you want to eliminate the chaos and the firefighting, yes, no more fires to put out. All of those things that come because you have a misaligned business, you have misaligned principles, misaligned people and processes, then you're in the right place. I'm going to show you how you can get rid of all of those and have a business that you can really grow without sacrifice. So let's first talk about the old way versus the new way. So this may be where your business is at right now. You're constantly putting out fires. Instead of that, you can actually have a well-oiled machine that your business works. And of course, there's always going to be problems that come up in a business, but you have a system and a process for those. So there's no 911 calls. You may be getting inconsistent processes, which creates inconsistent results. So if you're getting inconsistent results right now, that could be either through your marketing, through your client experience, or it could just be the way that your team is performing is inconsistent. Instead, we can have predictable outcomes. When you have predictable outcomes, that creates scalability. So I'm going to show you how we're going to put all of that together. Maybe right now you feel like you have a misaligned or an underperforming team. You know your team could do more, but you don't know how to get more out of your team. You also don't want to put this big burden on your team for them to be able to go out and to do the things that they need to build the business. But you can actually empower your team and have aligned A players that come in, get the job done, and can really move the needle in your business. And you don't feel like you are putting this burden on them. The old way of doing business is you being the bottleneck. And I know this could be hard to admit. And I look back at times in my businesses and there were times I totally was the bottleneck. I was the reason why things weren't moving forward. And so you can actually be able to step back, focus on your passions, and no longer be the bottleneck. And lastly, if you're feeling like you're sacrificing your personal life right now, it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually achieve work-life harmony. I don't like to use the word balance because we all know that that is an impossible dream, but you can have harmony between your work life and your home life. So if this sounds intriguing to you and you want to know more, then stay to the end and I'm going to walk you through the entire process of how you can achieve this inside your business starting today. First, let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brooke Elder. I have been in business for over 15 years. My very first business I started was a marketing agency. And the unfortunate news of that is I sold the business, which is great, but I sold it for 15 cents on the dollar. Not so great. The reason was because I did not have systems and processes. It was all here in my head. And because of that, I couldn't get what it was actually valued for. So I learned I needed systems and processes. So I started a new business. And in this business, it was a coaching business. And I built a 7-figure coaching business within 18 months. I grew that for 7 years. And I realized that I was trying to automate my business through people. And I needed to automate it through systems. So I started putting systems into place. And I went from a team of 27 down to a team of 6. All because of systems and automation. And once I had that business systematized, it was a network marketing coaching company. And I had a network marketing company approach me and offer me equity in their company in exchange for the coaching company. So my business then got acquired by a network marketing company. In building my coaching company, I learned so many invaluable lessons. One of those lessons was I was putting my family on the back burner, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So we decided to sell our house and buy a sailboat, and we sailed for a year in the Caribbean. And it was an amazing experience to be close to my family, really get to know my children again, and learn that they really are the most important thing. And all of these businesses and all of these things that we've created, that you can actually still run your business and have the family life that you really want. You can have that harmony. Now, I say that my superpower, if you've ever read the book Traction or Rocket Fuel, it talks about how in every business you need to have a visionary and you need to have an operator or an integrator. And I am actually 50-50, which there's only like 5% of the whole population that is 50-50. So I can see the visionary side, I can also see the operator side, and it works both ways. So because of that, that's what has made it so I could grow businesses very quickly, because I can have the vision of where we're going, but then I also know the structure of how to go behind that and actually build it to where it needs to be. And my challenge in creating this training is that I have spent almost 2 decades now building businesses. I have spent tens of thousands of hours creating systems, countless hours thinking of new strategies to grow my business and also grow my clients' business. And I was trying to think, how do I distill over 30,000 hours of all of this knowledge and sum it up into something that is easy and tangible that you can put into action? And as I was thinking through this, I came up with the Visionary Velocity Method. So there really are just 3 places in your business that you need to have the right systems in place in order to be able to scale. And this doesn't matter if you are an agency, you're a coaching business, any type of service-based business, you need to have these 3 things. And if you have these 3 things in place, you will be able to scale and scale phenomenally. So we're going to go through each one of these in detail so you know how you can start implementing this into your business. So the very first one is principles. Principles are first your personal life. A lot of people first talk about like their business life. What do you want your business life to be like? Where do you want to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? And it's very business focused. But I found when you're very business focused and that's all that you define, you leave out that personal side. And I've asked so many business owners, What kind of mom do you want to be? What kind of dad do you want to be? How do you want to show up to your kids when you come home from work? Even if you are working in an office, when you walk out that door, who is it that you want to be? And they can't tell me because they haven't defined it. That is a bigger part of who you really are than just the business side. Yes, it's super important to have your business values, but you also need to have your personal life defined of what does that look like? What kind of principles do you have in both those areas? Once you have that, then you can create your 3-year company vision and your culture, because it's very important for your team to also be on board with what this looks like. So when you are aligning your company message to who it is that you are helping, how you're helping them, why you even exist as a company. This comes down to your values, to your mission, and to your vision. So do you have your company values stated? Do you have your mission stated? Do you have your vision stated? Okay, if it's in a Google Drive somewhere collecting dust, virtual dust, pull those things out. And this is something that you need to be looking at daily. How can you put this out there daily? Maybe every single day you're posting something in your Slack channel about your values or a piece of your mission, or you're finding that people in your community are really being a great example of what that mission is. You want to be sharing those type of things because that's going to build this whole alignment inside your company. If you don't have company alignment and you don't have company culture, your company will build it for you. And I had heard that so many times, and I didn't really realize that that really was the case until I had someone in my company who became very entitled. And when they became very entitled and they thought that they deserved half of the company and deserved all of these things, they then started to spread that entitlement to all the other people that were in the company. Because I didn't know how to handle that because I did not have a company culture that was defined. And when I was able to get rid of that, and I was able to really focus on what are our values, what's our mission, what is the vision, what is our company culture, what are the things we stand for, and every day I was reinforcing that, that changed our whole company culture. And it helped us to actually all be like, I thought of all of my employees, all my team members, we're all sitting in a rowboat and we're all rowing together instead of everyone trying to row in different directions, because you're never going to get anywhere doing that. So I want you to think, what would your business look like if your entire team was aligned? They all were in that boat, they were all rowing together, and they all had personal freedom that they were looking for. That's you having your personal freedom. And I think it's just as equally important for your team to feel like they have that personal freedom too, if that is going to be part of your culture. What does that look like? How would that feel to open up your Slack tomorrow morning and everyone is online, everyone knows their jobs, everyone knows exactly what it is that they're supposed to be doing? And maybe you're like, Brooke, I already got that. My team is there. I'm so glad. Let's go on to the next piece. This is all about people. Do you have the right people? You've always heard, like, do you have the right people in the right seats, right? There's a lot that goes into this. Getting the right A players that are going to help move your business forward. When we look at people, there's a lot of different pieces that go into having the right people. I first look at software. You may be thinking, why do you look at software? Because that has nothing to do with people. Well, if you have the right software, you actually probably don't need as many people as you think. Remember I said that I went from a team of 27 down to a team of 6? It was because of software. Because I was automating with people, having people do manual jobs when I could have software, especially with all the things that AI can do now and the automations that you can build. You can automate so many pieces of your business. So if you have like multiple VAs, my guess is you probably could get rid of half of them right now, and a software could automate the job that they're doing. Now, you can always move them and put them in different places, right? You don't have to like fire everybody, but having the right software to get you to where you want to go is going to be very critical. The next piece is the right people that are in the right seats. Do you have the right people doing the right thing? I've had experiences on my team where I had someone who was in the right seat and then I moved them to the wrong seat because they wanted to have a promotion. They wanted to be able to have the title. And as soon as they got there, they started making a mess of things and they were much better in the place that they were. So you also could have people who are not in the right seats. They're failing at something. They're just not doing a good job at it. That doesn't mean that they can't work for you. What that means is maybe they're in the wrong seat and you're not playing to their strengths and they could really be used in a different way. So that's one of the things, is looking at, do you have the right people in the right seats? Next is having a recruiting system. So this is a way to find qualified A players we have a plug and play system that will help you to only talk to the people who really are A players, that are wanting to work for you, want to do the job. They can do it faster and most of the time with less mistakes. So there's less going back and forth on all of that. When it comes to people, also having a company dashboard, a way that you can have a visual view of everything that's going on in your business. You know where everyone is at on projects. You know that this person is a little behind on this thing, that this person's really rocking it over here. You are able to see everything that's going on. I kind of think of it like, remember back in the old days when, or maybe you've seen this in the movies, where you have like the executives are like up on this top floor and they have all those windows and they're looking out at the assembly lines and they can watch the workers as they're going and they can see, oh, this person's making a mistake here. Oh, this person is not doing what they need to do. This person is rocking it. That's what I think of this company dashboard. It's a way that you can see everything that's going on your team, which is so important in this virtual world because we're not in office cubicles and you can't tell what's going on. This is a way for you to be able to keep tabs on it in 5 minutes or less every single day. Because one of the biggest problems that I see is when founders start to scale their business and they start giving all the day-to-days over to their team, that they then lose touch with what's actually happening in their business. And then their team is making decisions and they may be making the wrong decisions and they're taking the business in a direction that the founder did not expect or anticipate for it to go. And it's because they didn't have a pulse on what actually was happening in the day-to-day. This doesn't mean you're doing the day-to-day. This just means that you know exactly what's happening in the day-to-day. And so that is what this company dashboard is all about. When you create these things, what it does for your team is it creates ownership. They know the things that they are in charge of. They know the KPIs that they're in charge of. And when they take ownership in your business and in their jobs and the things that they do, they want to do a better job. They have more buy-in, especially when they're aligned with your vision, that you will get A players that will never leave. They will want to always be a part of this boat that you are rowing all together. And this also creates accountability and feedback loops. So that way everyone knows where everyone is at. I believe in full transparency of what's going on, and having this accountability and feedback loops is what is going to really help. So when your business is optimized with people, this is an idea of what you can expect. So before, maybe you look at your revenue, what's coming in, and then how are you spending that revenue? Maybe 60% of it is on your team. You have about 22% on systems, and you have about 18% profit. For a normal e-commerce type business or online informational business, this is okay, but we definitely can do better. Once you go in and you are systematizing your business, you have all the right tools in place, your team is about 47% of your overall expenses. Your systems are only 13%. And your profit is now 40%. Now tell me, which one would you rather have? I'd rather have the 40%. And this is what an optimized business looks like. So before, you're still making profit, you're still doing good, you still have systems, all of that. But when it is optimized, you can have better profit to be able to then do profit sharing with your team, or be able to do awesome vacations for your team, or trips, or incentives, things like that. So I want you to ask yourself, what would your business look like if you could reduce the monthly cost and increase your client capacity? So if you're not spending as much, but you can take on more clients, what does that do for your business? All right, the last piece that needs to be put into place in your business in this visionary velocity method is processes. Processes are not SOPs, checklists, or Loom videos. That is not a process. When you create a process, it needs to have this framework. First, it needs to be clearly defined. So there's no room for assumptions. This is exactly what this process is. It needs to promote creativity. This is how you can get your whole team to be innovative in your business, but it's within a process. It also needs to help improve understanding. Your team needs to know why this process is important and what the desired outcome of that process is. And last, when you have a process, it should have one process to one owner. That's it. You should not have multiple people owning a process, because when you have multiple people owning a process, it creates confusion. So one process equals one owner. This is really that framework. This is very high level framework of how you create a process. Once you have all of those processes put together, this is just an example of different kinds of processes that you could have inside your business. All of them then work together to create this well-oiled machine. So it could be quarterly planning, a process org chart, which is something that we help you actually create. I'm not a big fan of just having like a normal company org chart. I would much rather have a processes org chart, because then it doesn't matter how big your team is. I remember when I had a team of 5 people, I'm like, why do I need an org chart? Like, they all report to me, or they all just know their job. When you have a processes org chart though, then you can have multiple people that are owning different processes. And then you can see this person has 20 processes. That might be too much on their plate. And that helps you to know when is the next time to hire if you have a processes org chart instead. Having a clear onboarding system, this goes for your team members and also for your clients. That is a type of process. Having daily protocols, having consistent feedback loops, and knowing how to conduct meetings so they're actually productive. How many of you sometimes like you sit in meetings and you're like, this meeting could have been an email, or you have meetings that you're talking through a bunch of stuff and you're like, okay, at the end of that meeting, what actually came out of that? And you don't have anything tangible. It wasn't actually a productive part of your time. Well, if you have a process of how to do those meetings, then you won't have that issue anymore. When you have processes, this is on average what our clients see. For admin tasks, they go from 40% down to 5%, because there's a process for doing things, and there's also a way to automate a lot of those tasks. When you look at company comprehension, this is the biggest change when you have processes. It's astounding how many companies that I talk with, that when I actually talk to the employees or the contractors, the team members that they have, how many of them actually understand, one, their job, but how their job impacts everything else and what it is that they're supposed to be doing on a day-to-day. When you have the right systems and processes in place to help train them, their comprehension goes through the roof. And it makes it so that way they can work faster, because there's not all the confusion of them sitting around and saying like, what am I supposed to do next? So that is huge, and the biggest reason why you need processes in your business. You also see an increase in client satisfaction, because they're, especially through your customer support team, they're able to work with your clients, get answers faster, and be able to provide a better client experience, which just helps their satisfaction grow. And you also see a decrease in time in meetings, because you don't need to have as many meetings. You don't have to spend all day on Zoom when you have the right processes in place. So you can see the visionary velocity method, when we put together the principles of your vision, having the right people in the right seats, and having automated systems through your processes. Those are the 3 things that you need to create a business that can scale and can scale very quickly. So I want you to take a second and I want you to imagine that you wake up each morning feeling energized and excited to work on your business. You know that your team is aligned and they're equipped with how to handle the day-to-day operations. You experience that peace of mind that comes from having a predictable, scalable business that consistently delivers excellent results. You feel pride and satisfaction in seeing your vision actually come to life as your team executes on your guiding principles and drives your business forward. You have the freedom to focus on your passions and your purpose, and you have a well-defined roadmap for growth, knowing that your business is on track to achieve the boldest goals that you dare to set. You feel the relief of no longer being the bottleneck in your business as your team takes ownership and makes the decisions aligned with your vision. And you can experience the joy of achieving that work-life harmony as your business supports your desired lifestyle and allows you to be present in those moments that really matter. Now, if this is something that you want, well, how can we help? You can book your business assessment, and together what we will do is we will create a customized plan to align your principles, your people, and your processes and unlock that full potential of your business. What we'll do is we'll look at all these 3 areas and see how you're doing. How are you doing with your principles? How are you doing with your people? And how are you doing with your processes? What of those 3 areas are the areas that you need most help with? And as we were going through this, you probably are already saying, oh, I know I need help with this, and I need help with this, and I need help with this. Well, we have different frameworks and formulas that we are happy to give you and help you as you are implementing this into your business. You can go to alignyourtruenorth.com/chat and you can book your call today. Like I said, during this call, we're going to look through all the different areas of your business and see what are the things that we can do to help you the most that will move the needle in your business. That way, in the next 90 days, your business will look very different than it does now. If you aren't able to take vacations and be able to even just take the weekend off, then you need to have processes and systems put into place into your business. Now, if you're thinking, well, this all sounds great, but that also sounds like a lot of work. I hear you, because it is a lot of work to put all of this into place. We actually do a lot of that heavy lifting for you. We help build out those processes. I have a whole team behind me that helps build the processes out for you. And while we're doing that, we're training someone on your team how we're doing it. So that way we can train them. This is the correct way to build those principles, the processes, and get the right people into your business so that way they can then take over. We are all about empowering the people that you have on your team already because they already love you. They love working with you. We want to help them to be able to help take your vision and just expound it. Because I know that you are making a huge impact in people's lives right now. And your impact is needed. The only way to increase your impact is to be able to get your business to a place where it can then scale and help more people. And you can do that through processes and through systems. Make sure you grab a spot on our calendar, and we'll see you all on Zoom.